Up next, one of my favorite people, Mr. Paul Evers, co-founder and CEO of Riff, among many other hats that he wears. Paul is no stranger to the PubTalk or BVC stages, and he's here to share Riff's unique approach to working with entrepreneurially-oriented collegiate athletes in the emerging name, image, likeness, or NIL landscape. Riff is partnering with Phil Knight's Division Street and other prominent organizations in Oregon on a unique mentorship program collecting collegiate athletes and a diverse group of proven entrepreneurs, including pro athletes turned entrepreneurs such as Vernon Davis, who we got to meet with Riff at BVC. He's a charming man. All right, Paul, get on up here.
Well, okay.
Yes,
okay.
I know what you mean.
Is this better? Is this better? Okay, that's better. All right. Okay. How many of you were aware of what? I love this gap in sound on this microphone. It's really it creates a
it's
very
like Mad Libs for speaking.
If it isn't this is something else that we have a challenge with. So anyways, how many were familiar with NIL or name, image, likeness for collegiate athletes? I have to do that. Okay, so about 5 of you. Thank you. I've been asked to give a little update on our unique approach to NIL. All right. The NCAA implemented new rules last June, and various states across the country have implemented new laws that allow for the very first time in the history of collegiate athletics, for collegiate athletes to be able to profit from their name, image, and likeness. And this created this whole new landscape, and it's a bit of a Wild West out there. So in the state of Oregon, for example, deals might range from like $4 or $5, $10, something like that for a promotional post, to $100,000 for Kayvon Thibodeau, who is one of University of Oregon's top football players who's registered for the NFL draft this April. So this past October, actually Vernon Davis, Super Bowl champion, Riff investor, Riff advisor, Riff ambassador, came and spent several days with us here in Oregon, and 3 of those days were at the University of Oregon. We were invited by faculty of the Lundquist School of Business to come and guest lecture. I know, I feel your pain, Ashley. Guest lecture, but I got your name right. Guest lecture to business school students, whether MBA or undergraduate, by sharing Riff's story as an emerging beverage brand here in Oregon. And because we had Vernon Davis with us, we also got the opportunity to speak with student-athlete groups who are particularly interested in entrepreneurship or business. Now, back in May, we're actually approached by one of the top NFL athlete agencies in the country, representing some pretty big names, and they were interested in us potentially partnering with them on NIL engagements with student athletes. We were kind of interested, and this is the first time we kind of learned more about this opportunity, but the opportunity was pretty limited because they were exclusively focused on top NFL draft prospects, and it was football and it was male, and we were like, and the other thing was really bad, is they didn't have one Oregon athlete on their prospect list. Yeah, boo. So we said, I'm sorry, we're not doing that one. We're not doing that one. And then our experience at University of Oregon really inspired us, because one of the things that we learned is that with the University of Oregon, their student athletes, the number one career interest for student athletes there at Oregon is entrepreneurialism. So that has had us thinking a little bit differently about how we could engage student athletes in the name, image, likeness program. So we wanted to take a little bit more of an entrepreneurial approach and elevate it beyond, above transactional in exchanging cash for posts or likes or other kind of social media activities. So we're excited. It's good timing because tomorrow, actually, we're going to finalize our first NIL deal with a top University of Oregon athlete. And I'll share with you what the basic terms of this engagement are. First is revenue share. So we're going to give each of our student athletes engaged in the NIL program with a unique discount code that they can share and drive traffic to our own direct-to-consumer channel on letsriff.com, and then they will get 50% of the revenue generated from the initial sale with these new prospects. The second one, which is really unique, is equity. We're actually, what we want to do is we want to see the NIL athletes as true partners. So, what we're doing is we're going to be inviting them to participate in our incentive equity plan, which is a profits interest unit plan, so they can enjoy the upside and the benefit of how they're helping us build our business. And then the third thing is a mentorship program. We're partnering with Division Street, Bill Knight's Division Street, with OEN, Built Oregon, Black Founders Matter, on a very unique program connecting pro athletes turned entrepreneurs with these student athletes, such as Vernon Davis and Drew Bledsoe, as well as other entrepreneurs that are in the Riff ecosystem, like former Matt, come on, help me out here. Former President Anheuser-Busch, Dave Peacock, yeah? Switch with Shannon. It has nothing to do with trust, it's protocol. Thank you so much, Matt. Oh my God, this is so much nicer. Okay, so connecting with entrepreneurs, including a former a Riff advisor, former Anheuser-Busch President Dave Peacock, and also connecting the student athletes with the broader ecosystem of entrepreneurialism and founders, representing a diverse communities and a diverse set of sectors, such as consumer tech, apparel, CPG, and publishing. And so that program is currently being refined and developed, and we're working with those agencies and organizations to develop that. And so that's our take on NIL, and one of the things that they're most excited about is that these student athletes actually have the real opportunity to become partners with an early stage enterprise and enjoy the long-term benefits of their promotion of the brand. So I'm going to just close with thank God for suggesting I switch the mics. Matt, thank you. And let's riff.
This is so cool. This is so cool. But before we get into question and answer, I just want to say, standing here on this tiny stage with you, Paul, I feel a very strong desire to do a lip sync battle, and I wish that's why we were here, and I just want to put that seed out there.
Well, I'll tell you what, lip sync would have been a lot smoother.
I know, because the mics would be turned off.
No mic needed.
No microphones needed. Okay. So how did this even come about? Because this is kind of wild and a little bit revolutionary, yeah?
We're a small early stage enterprise. And one of the things that the agencies or people who are looking after these student athletes are excited about is the right sizing of the enterprise with the developing athlete, because these athletes are interested in entrepreneurialism. So we're not only engaging them with the consumer-facing side of building a brand, but the operational side of building a brand. So they get to develop, get some exposure to what early stage enterprise is like, the challenges, and the.
Oh, it's not me, is it?
Okay. Can you pick up where I leave off?
Yes.
Okay.
The challenges and the excitement.
But it's just, I think a lot of what John was talking about, Ashley, it's just being entrepreneurial in the approach and not just accepting the program as it stands as far as, a commodity approach.
So cool. It's so cool. Are there any specific athletes that you're really excited about right now?
Well, we have a docket, and so tomorrow we're going to finalize the agreement with the pilot, the lead NIL athlete, and I'm going to wait for somebody to ask who that is. Oh, who is it? It's one of University of Oregon's top women's or female basketball players.
Cool.
Okay, we're going to have guesses now. What was that? I didn't even hear that. Did you hear that?
Current or
Oh,
former?
current. I thought you were saying that a man's
Current
name.
player,
And I thought
yeah.
no, okay, right.
I thought he was talking about Pilates.
Yes,
I wasn't sure. I was like, didn't know that was a pro sport.
Yes, current player on the women's basketball team. No, that'd be cool. Somebody over here said her name. Sedona Prince.
Woo!
Sedona Prince, if you don't know who Sedona Prince is, just Google her. She made a name for herself, and she pointed out the inequities between the men's weight room facilities and the women's at the NCAA March Madness tournament last year.
Get that sorted out.
So she's been written up out in New York Times. She's amazing. She's inspiring.
This is so cool.
And she's going to be an amazing partner.
This is so
Sedona
cool.
Prince.
I just love this so much. Okay, any questions for Paul? Yes, in the back. Do you have moral turpitude or trait clauses? Get rid of?
Yeah,
Are we doing that?
Yeah,
Can
we
we
can
say
get
that
rid
in
of them.
public?
There's exit clauses on both sides. Yeah.
I mean, Oregon's an
anything
at-will state.
egregious.
Sir,
For
in the
anything
hat.
egregious, because a lot of crazy stuff happens out there. Yes.
Well, yeah, like kind of following on what he was asking, you're talking a lot about like University of Oregon centric. If they can enter the transfer portal, which I think Sedona did come from USC, right? Like, would she then be out?
So if they enter the transfer portal, would that like change the contract? Are you Oregon only?
You're talking about the University of Oregon?
Yeah.
We're really focused on Oregon. We actually have some OSU athletes already signed up for our affiliate program. But their eligibility for this program will sunset once they're no longer eligible for NCAA or they go pro, or 2 years is the term that we're looking at.
God, I feel like we're like ESPN Live right now. I'm just like, sports, sports, sports. Oh my God, sports. Yes. Are you creating a format
Yes.
that other businesses here in
Yes.
Central Oregon could also adopt?
Yes.
That's a great question.
Yes. Yes. Can I explain more?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Riff is one brand. We want to establish this program. Really, it's really, focusing on mutual benefit, and so it would be very limited value to the student athletes if Riff was the only brand that was engaged. We're hoping that a whole plethora of brands will be engaged, but we're charting the footprint, or we're carving out the template.
I wonder if we could pilot a program for independent operating MCs. Like, hey, Ruff, where I have 2 dogs now. Any other question? Yes. Is this part of the Emerge program?
No, we don't need Emerge. No. It's a good program. That's the University of Oregon program. They're working, which is really excellent. Division Street is really more of a connector for us and connecting us to different ecosystems. We actually, just this past week, we signed as an advisor to Riff, the head of social media strategy for Whiten and Kennedy, if you've heard of that agency. John Dempsey, he's a local guy here, and he's specifically going to be working and advising us and our student athletes on how to retain authenticity and not overly commercialize their personas as we're engaging in these NIL
Sports.
activities.
Sports. You, sir. How'd you come up with the name? He's thinking music, but you're
how did you come up with the
obviously...
name Riff? Riff, right? Not Sedona Prince?
Riff?
Okay.
Yeah.
Riff was inspired in the creative space. My background is creative services as well as many others on the team. Riff is really a term that we use for building on ideas. So if you say you take an idea and you riff on it, it taps into the same idea behind music and going with the flow, and so we're riffing on the NIL
riffing.
landscape.
We're just doing some riffing, you know, a little bit casual riffing. Yes, ma'am.
So you mentioned the agencies that look after athletes, and so my question is, like, how do they find you, and what's the incentive to become one of your contract athletes?
So
But I mentioned the
so
NFL.
So she's mentioning the agencies and what is the benefit to them to connect with you. Correct?
Right.
Did I get
the
that right?
NFL player agency reached out to us is because of the relationship with Vernon Davis, Super Bowl champion. So that's how they heard about us. Sedona is actually represented by the top female athlete agency, I think, in the country, called Wasserman. And we're dealing with some very, very brilliant people, really wonderful people there at the agency.
Like this is something that's just gonna like catch on, and I mean I'm sure it will take a bit of time to kind of, like you said, it's the Wild West, right? But I can see in maybe 2 years or 3 years that this could be like a very functional program.
Well, we hope that we can kind of reset the stage as to what this could be for student athletes as well as brands. As an early stage, like we've had meetings with top Nike executives, and they said, Nike, a corporation like Nike can't do what we're doing, but we're early stage, so we have the flexibility and the ability to engage with them at this level. So we're setting a new model, which
It's
is really
fun
great.
too, because I'm just thinking about these athletes like reaching out to their people, and they have a really fun new product that's not just shoes or cool jerseys or what sports people wear. This is very cool. It's very different.
We didn't mention what is Riff. I don't know if anybody knows what Riff is, what we make. I don't know. Yes.
Could Birdseed for Humans potentially do something
100%
like this?
Birdseed, absolutely, for humans. Yes. Yeah, we're hoping to build, a cohort of brands around this idea.
Well, this
Riff, by the way, is
yeah.
is a beverage company, and we make a wonderful energy drink. It's natural, brewed from an upcycled, historically
It's
wasted
low
byproduct
sugar.
of the coffee.
It's very
hop.
delicious.
Yes,
It's
very
all
delicious. That's the most important
organic,
thing.
natural ingredients.
And wherever you go, make sure you ask for it, even
Ask
if you
for
don't
it.
know what it is.
Ask for it a lot.
And birdseed and Riff.
They go really well together.
Yeah.
You could put the Riff in the I don't know if I would, but
No, I don't want to mix them.
Well, Paul, this is awesome. It's wonderful to hear from you. I hope that you'll come back and check in with us again and give another update after things are like getting going. And should people just like be watching your social media to see how the pilot athlete?
And follow Sedona Prince. That'll be really exciting. Now I'm really excited for the keynote.
I am too. I know. I am too.
Dan is a Riff supporter.
Don't call him up just yet.
Okay, I won't.
Okay.
But everybody knows who it is. Okay,
yeah,
great.
and he looks excited.
Okay, Shannon, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you
Paul.
for